From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
the USDA is helping farmers invest in renewable energy. Courtney Kincaid from the Indiana Society of CPAs returns, and our industry focus visits a family farm.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
Welcome back to Business, Equity, and Opportunity. I'm Scott Sander. Time for access to capital, finding money. A move toward renewable energy is not always easy or easily affordable. For farms, the USDA is offering big money to solve big problems.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to capital.
Anthony Kirkland is Business Programs Director for the U.S. Department of Agriculture Rural Development. The agency is helping farmers become more energy self-sufficient.
The acronym is REAP, Rural Energy for America Program, and it's a program designed to be able to help producers and small farmers, along with small businesses, to be able to help improve on their energy costs. Plenty of funding that's available for that program. I know they announced roughly $1 billion. Here in the state of Indiana, we did receive an allocation of roughly $4.4 million. And so we've already received several applications for that program, and it's up and running. Basically, any rural small businesses would be eligible for that program, and the key thing is as long as it's located in rural America. When it comes down to the energy, basically it's going to be renewable energy or energy efficient. Now, when we're talking about renewable energy, one of the examples would be like a solar project here in the state of Indiana, and even including last year, we've done several solar projects in the state of Indiana here. We're able to basically do with energy efficient type programs, working with farmers to do like a grain dryer, or even working with like a Dairy Queen private owned type business to be able to put a project there for them to help them to reduce their energy costs. Well, unfortunately, with our program, it is kind of one of the best kept secret, and we certainly like the word to get out about our program. A lot of time they think that there's a lot of paperwork with it, but when you look into it, anybody could pretty much kind of complete one of our applications. Now, there are grant writers that are out there that are able to help with some of the application process too as well. You can apply at any time under this program. There's no set time. Anytime you want to do a project, you can apply. Now, we do have under this new initiative, you can compete quarterly for the funding of the program there. I think when you look at it, and we talked about this, that with rural small business, it is the engine that drives our economy. And so with the USDA Rural Development, we are very proactive in trying to help these rural small businesses. And oftentimes, one of the hurdles that they have is being able to have access to capital. And that's kind of where we come in, not only with access to capital, but we also have some program that helps with technical assistance with helping small businesses. And those are the things that are really needed for small businesses. With the USDA Rural Development, we have 7 area offices, and we have folks in those area offices that are actually able to kind of like boots on the ground to be able to go in any area and to help a small business. What I see as the future is basically, as it pertains to rural development, is us being able to continue to do what we do. We've always been a program designed to help provide what we call supervised credit, and being able to help rural small businesses, and we're going to continue to do that regardless to what may be going on with the economy. We got folks that are out there that have the expertise in all of the programs that we have. Well, what gets me excited is that the fact that I'm able to help a rural small business. And give you an example of one. I'm from northern Indiana, and there's a company in Whitley County. A guy basically started started in this garage. A very successful business now. I have over 300 plus employees there. But I was able to work with him several years ago and to get this project done with some financing. And just to be able to receive the result of that and the benefit of those jobs in that community just plays a huge factor. Okay, so as an industry, as an example, with our funding from last year, Indiana really leaded the nation with the number of projects that we was able to do under the REAP program and utilizing the loan and the grant funding to be able to help producers and rural small businesses. So even on last year, the USDA Rural Development, we was able to attract a company that was actually located in Mexico, and we was able to attract them to come here to Indiana, just outside of Muncie there in the industrial park, and they make steel fabrication, and that was a very huge project, but the USDA Rural Development was involved with that. It didn't happen overnight. It was a process to that, and we are very pleased with a project like that, bringing jobs back to Indiana. I think the main thing is for the folks to know that with the USDA Rural Development, we helped a ton of people over the previous year under our REAP program, but we also have other programs out there. We have a business and energy loan guarantee program. There's a program designed specifically for lenders where we're able to have lenders to provide a guarantee loan, and we provide the credit to them, okay? And then we also have other grants programs that are out there for cities and towns to be able to help them with a revolving loan program, so that we're really concerned about the community as a holistic approach with all our programs that we have.
It's our time to talk about accounting and bookkeeping. Courtney Kincaid is back to discuss financials.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Courtney Kincaid is CEO and President of the Indiana Society of CPAs.
Something that a lot of small businesses don't necessarily think of when they think of tools for guiding their business is the financial statement. The financial statement oftentimes is looked at as a compliance tool for that annual report on your profit and loss and what's taxable. But really the financial statement and those three documents can help you make some insightful business decisions. The income statement is part of the financial statements. A lot of people refer to this as a profit and loss. We also have the balance sheet, and we also have a cash flow report. All of these on their own have useful information, but used together, they really paint a really clear picture of your current financial health and then your long-term financial health, which is often why it's used so commonly by lending institutions or investors. Something you might consider looking at if you're thinking about merging with another small business or working with another small business, is it does paint a nice picture of how sustainable that business is and if there's opportunities for growth. A lot of small business owners, because they don't have an internal controller or they don't have a financial bookkeeper on staff, might only prepare the financial statements annually, when they're thinking about tax purposes. But really, when they're created on a monthly basis or even a quarterly basis, it gives the business owner the opportunity to check in more frequently and make informed decisions about where they might pivot or how they might sustain their business when they're having some lower cash flow times. Another reason why you might want to create a monthly process for creating financial statements is if you needed immediate access to capital, right? So if you needed to produce this document to a financial institution, you would already have a current edition, a copy. Those who do it monthly are able to more readily access capital when they need it, and even to predict when they might need it several months down the road. Good financial statements are created when we use materials that are orderly, are timely, and are consistent. And so you want to track all expenses and keep those expenses in your business account, keep them separate from your personal expenses, and income as well. Whether that income is promised to you now as a cash basis transaction, or if you're using accrual-based accounting, you expect to come in receipt of some funds in the future. And you can track that and take a good look at what's going to happen in the future. Which brings up a really great point too, is if you're using cash basis accounting, which is something that is much more familiar to maybe the average person, what you learn in school. I get my money in, I get my money out. But there's also accrual-based accounting, which is actually a little bit better. It's definitely more complicated, so using that CPA is really helpful, but it gives a better picture of the long-term financial health of the organization.
Time for the industry focus. When the world thinks of Indiana, a few things almost always stand out. Race cars, basketball, and farms. Agriculture is still a leading industry in the state, with small business owners, family farmers at the heart.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Don Lamb is director of the Indiana State Department of Agriculture. His family has farmed the same piece of land for generations.
I like to say I'm a farmer first. That's what I do. I still like to call myself a farmer, but I have been appointed as far as the State Department director of the State Department of Agriculture. But it's really great because the things that the State Department of Agriculture touches are all things that I'm passionate about and I love and I know a lot about. As far as just it's the way I've grown up, it's what I've lived. So soil and water conservation is a big part of that. And then you've got FFA as a part of that. So you've got the education of young people coming up in agriculture. And you've got economic development. Without economic development and agriculture being a part of economic development in our state, then we would lose out in that area as well. And then we keep track of legislation that's going through the State House and things that might affect agriculture. And so there's a lot of moving parts to what happens at the Department of Ag. Farming is something when you think about like our Indiana Grown program is another thing that happens through the State Department of Agriculture, where we help usually smaller farmers but entrepreneurs build a business. It might be flowers, it might be honey, it might be whatever they can produce on maybe a small acreage and they want to grow it. And it goes all the way up through a farm like ours. It's a grain farm. And then you get into the ag bioscience industry, and groups like Agronovus are working in that world. And so from very small to very big, companies like Corteva and Elanco here in Indiana that do a lot of the ag bioscience work, and then how that feeds back into what we do on a smaller level and how that goes back and forth. And so it's an exciting time. It's a very exciting time to be a part of agriculture, and there's so much going on. There's a healthy future. There's so many things you can do now that can be economically good fits, good strong economic businesses that don't have to be real large. And then there's all the if you're very scientific, or if you're an engineer, if you're into the biosciences, there's all that as well. So there's just so many opportunities at every different level of agriculture. Are we doing enough? Well, through like FFA, that encourages that a lot. Purdue is an amazing resource to have in our state. We've got the best, as far as I'm concerned, we've got the best agricultural college in the country right here in Indiana. So we're doing a lot, but we can capitalize on that and just keep that momentum going.
The changes that I've seen, GPS and technology has changed so much because back in the 90s we started soil sampling using GPS. So we know exactly, not only do we know what's in the soil, but we know what's in the soil exactly in a certain spot of a field. So we started applying fertilizer back in the 90s using GPS. So you pull a soil sample, you make a map of what the field needs, where, and then you can load that information into your fertilizer spreader, and as you drive across the field, it automatically puts on what you need, the different nutrients you need for that. And so that's been like the biggest change that I've seen over time, is that technology just keeps getting better and better and better and better. And we're really spoon feeding what we need for a crop instead of applying more than what would ever be necessary in certain areas. For one thing, it's expensive, so it's economical to do it that way. And then the other part of it is it's better for the environment if we don't put things out there that we don't need for that crop. So that's been one of the biggest changes that I've seen, is the technology of fertilizer spreading. And then you get into planters now, and our planters are so technologically advanced. As you go across the field, they're planting different seeding rates based on the soil type that they're in. So there's a map loaded in there of your soil type, and as you go across the field, you might plant 36,000 seeds per acre in this spot and 28,000 seeds per acre in this spot based on the potential that that soil has. You don't need to put more out there than what that soil can produce. And then we're also maybe having 2 different liquid fertilizer treatments that are going on at the same time. One might be right with the seed to help it start growing, and one might be beside the seed. And when we can variable rate those applications as we go across the field based on what's needed for that crop. So the amount of variables that go into planting now is so big. And that's been a huge change towards efficiency, doing things right for the environment, doing things right for the economy, and that's just going to get better and better. When you talk about keeping young people in the state, in agriculture, we need those people. We need people who, if they're good with computers and they're good with technology and they have a love for agriculture especially, then we need them in our industry, because that's one thing I can tell you as we get up towards planting time, the most valuable person that we need as a resource from our local equipment dealer is the technology guy. The guy that knows the latest software that needs to be loaded to that particular hardware that's in our tractor to make it talk to this planter or to this fertilizer spreader. All that integration is really, real highly advanced, and we need that help. We don't have enough expertise to know how to do those things. So I'd love to see more young people, that are interested in technology lean towards agriculture, because the future is huge in that.
I think one thing that we can do better in agriculture is to establish ourselves as a real economic force in our state. Everybody knows that farming has always been the foundation of our economy here in Indiana. But as we look to the future and we think about technology, we think about manufacturing, we think about doing these things, agriculture needs to be a part of that discussion at the top levels of our government, of what we're thinking about. We need to establish ourselves that we're a part of the conversation of economic development, really from the federal level, state level on down, because we really are, but we haven't done the best job at telling that story of how the economics of agriculture really do affect our overall economy.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunity Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.